We are the Church of the Larger Fellowship, a Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundary, working toward creating a global spiritual community, rooted in profound love, which cultivates wonder, imagination, and the courage to act. Adapting to the COVID-19 pandemic has been difficult for many bricks and mortar congregations. Early on in the pandemic, we were in a unique position to assist many congregations with the transition. We hosted special episodes of The VUU, provided advice and counseling to religious professionals, and trained congregations for live streaming worship, all while providing robust online programming for our members. From worship to covenant groups, from classes to pastoral care, and from our monthly magazine to our letter writing ministry, we have found ways to build connection and community even through the screen. We have been a model for ministry on the margins, providing services for isolated Unitarian Universalists, becoming a spiritual lifeline for our members in prison, and investing in innovative ministry. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed even from a distance. Unitarian Universalists have faced many challenges in these times, and we continue to persevere and to fight for justice and equity for all people, especially during moments of crisis. We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Larger Fellowship. We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of The VUU. The VUU is a weekly Unitarian Universalist talk show discussing important faith-based topics from an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and multicultural perspective. Every Thursday for the past 7 years, we have welcomed guests from every corner of the world. Our guests are writers, scholars, activists, and religious thought leaders who are shaping Unitarian Universalism and society for the 21st century and beyond. I hope today's show inspires you. Hope it builds your faith. Hope it gives you perspective to see the power of Unitarian Universalism at work in your life. Enjoy the message.
Hi, friends. We are so happy to find you here again at the VUU, the Church of the Larger Fellowship's Voices of Unitarian Universalism. And I'm excited with today's topic because it is very timely. And we will get to that in just a second. But as usual, we're going to do our host check-ins. You've got the host skeleton crew here today. I'm Cristina Rivera, she, her pronouns, and I'm coming to you from beautiful Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico, where I live. And it is, it's really pretty. It's starting to get a little bit humid into the summer months, but that's okay because the view is wonderful. GC, how you doing?
Hi, everybody. I am DC Fortune. I am doing well. I am in temporary sort of digs in my new place that I'm buying. I'm here ahead of the purchase, so everything's sort of up in the air and everything's in boxes and the cats are trying to figure stuff out. But I am coming to you from Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, which is on the banks of the Susquehanna River. And what else? Oh, it's also where Susquehanna University is. And it's a neat little town. I'm just really delighted to be learning my way around here. I'm trying to think for weather. I usually get Christina's used weather in Virginia, but now I don't know. I will say that it's been hot and we've had a couple of thunderstorms, but it's not the humidity that I experienced at the Jersey Shore. So I'm still acclimating. All in all, though, it's not bad. I haven't had to shovel it, so we'll call that good. I'm going to hand it back to Christina, who will lead off with the roundup.
Yeah, we're doing the roundup. One of the things I wanted to highlight was the UUA's Youth and Emerging Young Adult staff is having a town hall today, this evening, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you go to the UUA's website, you can register for it, or their social media. And it's pretty exciting. They're going to be talking about what the new youth and young adult programs at the UUA are going to be looking like, and kind of talk a little bit about the process of how they've come to where they're going. I don't know where they're going, but they're going to be talking about that process. So I'm very excited to be able to witness that, and so I'll definitely be there, and I hope other folks will sign up for that. You do have to register for it so that you can get the Zoom link. It's one of those kinds of things. So I know it's on the UUA website or on their social media. I encourage folks to do that. BC, you have any roundup? I know there's so many folks who are religious professionals on the move right now.
I know. All I can think about is I've seen a lot of news in my social media feed about the search process. Excuse me, Hammy is Octavius Brooks Frothingham, the cat.
Hello.
Otherwise known as Hammy, is freaking out in his new home, and he's like checking things out. And so he says hello. But the search process, the search and call process, there's so much transition this year, with so many ministers leaving places where they are, and some of them going to new places, and some of them not going. Some of them just leaving ministry. And I know the transitions office has been scrambling to find people, bodies to fill all the spaces that are coming open, and it's a challenge. And 2 years of COVID overlapped with 4 years of dictatorship has the American public traumatized, including Unitarian Universalists, in ways that we don't entirely recognize. And that's acting out, that's being displayed in a bunch of different ways. And so this is a super challenging time. Also, it's the end of the program year, right? We're in June. It's the end of the program year, so everybody's kind of crispy anyway. GA is coming up. COVID numbers are a little bit bonkers. Everybody's under stress. So just be gentle with each other. The search and call process is complex and imperfect, and that's all I can say. I went from settled ministry this year to now I'm in a 1-year contract I'm in a contract ministry place. So everybody's, and just that kind of uncertainty, that sort of limbo has everybody with a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah, and I'll say it's a lot of the same for religious educators and administrators and music directors. Mm-hmm. Those folks are membership professionals, just seeing a lot of shift to congregations and
Mm-hmm.
search for those as well. Let's see, other things in the roundup. Church of the Larger Fellowship is having our annual congregation meeting this Sunday. Make sure you all sign up for that so you get the Zoom link for that. It's right before our worship service, so we try and make it super easy to just go to the congregational meeting and then head right into worship service.
How cool is that? That's awesome.
Yeah, so come and join us, and we'll talk a little bit about the previous year, and we're having a vote on the ordination of one of our learning fellows.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a celebratory kind of feel good place to be.
Oh, God, we need that. We totally need that right now.
Absolutely. And
Can
speaking of being in a celebratory place,
Right? Oh my
GA
God.
is coming, and we are so excited that we have Karishma Gottfried here with us. Karishma is coming to us, I think, still from Massachusetts. I think that's the dorm room setup that I know and love. And Carrie is a longtime Unitarian Universalist and has had many roles in youth leadership. Carrie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. It's great to be back here. I am indeed still in my dorm room in Massachusetts. I go to Wellesley College, and I'm about to leave. I'm leaving after the weekend to embark on a very fun summer of traveling around on a train and learning Hebrew. And my first big stop will be at General Assembly, but I'm stopping a couple places on the way as well. So if you see me at General Assembly, whether virtually or in person, I will be sure to tell you all about my train adventures.
That's really cool.
I love that. I love it. I love the train adventures, particularly. I too, our family is a big train family, so we've done the cross-country train trips several times. And it also always reminds me of Kimberly Hampton, who was always somebody who would come to us wherever we were, usually via the train. And so it just brings back really great memories of Kim and our conversations about train travel. We asked Carrie to be here because Carrie is taking on this is the first time ever role for GA, right? What you're doing with the fabulous Greg Boyd is first time ever, and I am so excited about this. You all, I am like, I don't even think you know how excited I am that this is finally happening, because it's something that's been in the works or has been asked for a long time, and now it's happening. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing at General Assembly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that all of you at the Church of the Larger Fellowship already know how important it is for us to be able to gather in virtual community. And I think a lot of people have learned the wisdom of that over the past few years. And we've had virtual attendings at General Assembly for a really long time now, but there hasn't really been a robust effort to include them and have different programming opportunities outside of just being a delegate. And so with the last few years completely being online, now this year we are, like many UU congregations, trying some combination to include people who want to be in Portland and in person, and people who are joining from all over the world. And so Greg Boyd, who's a former UUA Board of Trustees member, along with a million other things, and myself, I was on General Assembly youth staff as the junior and senior dean in 2018 and 19, and I've been on the worship arts team the past 2 years. And the two of us are going to be the virtual MCs of GA, is what our official title is. I like to call myself a GA influencer with 2 U's, influencer. Yeah, so that's my unofficial title.
I could not love that official or unofficial title anymore. That's exactly awesome. What we need. We need, we've always heard, if you've attended General Assembly, even general sessions where the conversations from delegates goes on so often, and I've done this myself, like no shade on anybody. I've been up there on the podium directing things and have forgotten to wait for the virtual attendees to weigh in on something or to get their vote before we announce, whether a vote passed or failed. And so it's really great that some effort and resource is being put to actually having folks that can shepherd that group, through General Assembly, because it's not just delegates, right? Now it used to be really the people who attended GA virtually were just delegates. and it was
Right.
just for general sessions. But now people can attend. This is the first ever, hybrid General Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
You can still sign up. So if you're still wanting to sign up for General Assembly, please go and do so. There's you can still sign up virtually or in person, but certainly
Right.
the virtual option is open. So Carrie, like, what can people expect as an experience with you and Greg?
Oh my gosh, we have so many fun things planned. Like I mentioned, Greg used to be on the board and was part of the mod squad, and so has a lot of experience with GA business. I've been a delegate before. I've paid attention. I think it's interesting, but I don't really know what's going on. And I think a lot of people attending GA are in the same boat. And
Yeah.
so one of the things we'll be doing, Greg likes to call it his, retired athlete turned sportscaster idea. And so he will be kind of explaining the play-by-play of general sessions and, what's going on. When you're in person, at least when I'm in person, I just go up to a friend who is really in tune with all the business, and I'm like, "What's going on? Like, what's happening?" And but it's a little bit harder. We have the chat rooms, but it's a little bit harder to kind of get caught up with everything. So hopefully that segment will be something that'll be helpful for people who are on site and off site to, get a little bit of a rundown about what just happened during the business. On the one of the other really fun sections I'm excited for is what I'm calling Carrie and Carrie. So Carrie McDonald is the executive vice president of the VUU association, and I'm me, but we have the same name, kind of. And something that we love doing, I just in the past years, is we'll go up to each other and I'll be like, "Hey, Carrie," and he'll go, "Hey, Carrie." And so we figured we could turn that into a little segment. So if you have, questions for the executive vice president, I'm definitely going to be asking him what his go-to convention center snack is. That's one I really am curious about. And just different things, fun things, informational things, all of that we'll be checking in with him every day on our segment called Carrie and Carrie. So those are a couple of the things to look forward to. I don't want to spoil them all.
Wow.
I
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that totally sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I've attended virtually, I think, one out of the last two online things, and it was hard to be on a screen. It was hard to feel connected. And like Christina said, it's like I haven't done it while people are meeting in person. I haven't been a remote attendee or a remote delegate, and I can only imagine how much more frustrating that would be. So having sort of a maitre d' to make it work is kind of cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of the hope, because when you're attending virtually, there's still you see the big screen, you see what's going on, and that's good to have that perspective, but we also want a little bit of the behind the scenes. So we'll be taking virtual attendees with us as we wander around the convention center and say hi to people and talk and
that's
chat,
awesome.
have fun. We will be doing most of our stuff will be on the VUU platform. So if you are going to GA, make sure you've downloaded that app. It's also, I believe, a website thing. And you can see videos that we'll be posting there. We'll be doing some pre-recorded, some live, all of those things. And we'll also be going on the Instagram and Facebook pages for General Assembly. And we'll maybe do some live videos and things so we can be interacting with people in real time. If people have questions or things they want to see, just comment, shoot us a message, and we will do our best. Because, we're really there just to have fun and kind of bridge that connection between the virtual and in-person worlds.
I'm just so excited about this. In my heart, I'm starting to get that fear of missing out, and I'm getting FOMO about this, and I'm going to be there. But I'm going to be there as the virtual, I'm going to be in person. So I'm like, oh my God, fear of missing out of the virtual experience at GA. How wonderful would that be, right? That the people at GA are gonna get FOMO about the virtual experience of GA.
Oh yeah, virtual GA is definitely not going to be GA light. There is absolutely so much to happen, and it's also one of the great things I've learned in the past few years is like there are so many cool workshops at GA, and there is simply no time to do them all. Like sometimes they're at the same time, or you're tired. Like 5 days, even if you're doing absolutely everything you can, you still won't hit all of the things you want to. And so having things virtually and having things that you can chuck back on later and watch those videos after has been such a great thing, and just a lot more of an accessible way to access some of the amazing wisdom that our people have to offer.
Right, and it's just a wonderful accessibility tool because not everybody takes in information at the same rate in the same way. So if you're at home watching the recording, you can pause it and think about, you don't have to, like so often I'll be in a workshop or I'll be listening to somebody speak and I will hear something really fascinating and I will try and get my brain around it. And by the time I get that figured out, they're 3 points later and I'm not exactly sure what has just happened, But having the recording is really great for people like me who are a little easily distracted and can come back and listen to it a second or third time, so I can get the whole thing. That's a great thing for folks who have attention issues. So yeah, that's going to be awesome.
And I really love that the UUA is putting resources into it, right? Like this having you and Greg there, obviously you all are being compensated. Yay!
Yay.
That there is like there's a shift. I see an organizational shift in the UU world towards, well, we've had 2 years of forced accessibility. Now let's see what we can do with actually embracing accessibility, because we can and because we know. And I know, Carrie, that you have something kind of in those lines as well.
Yeah, another really exciting thing that GA is doing to be a little bit more accessible and for both people in person and virtually is the GA dance, which is such a big part of GA. People love to go and dance their hearts out. I've only been to GA as a youth because it's been virtual the last few years. So when I was in person as a youth, it's always super fun. We're always having a great time as GA youth, but it's a great multi-generational activity. But it's also really loud and can be really, really overwhelming for people. And so something that we're doing this year is we're having a silent disco, which we've been having
so cool.
It's so fun. So basically, you have your headphones and there's 3 different tracks of music you can listen to. And so you can be jamming out to one song and right next to you, somebody else is listening to their favorite song and just having a great time. And the volume is way lower. You can kind of pick how loud you want your music. You can decide. It's very much more opt-in. And there are the 3 tracks that are going to be played. There's going to be a live DJ, and then there's going to be a youth and young adult playlist, which will obviously be very good. And Greg and I are curating our very own MCs playlist. So if you want to know what our combined taste in music is, which I think is very funny, that'll also be a playlist and a track. And I believe at least our playlist we're making it on Spotify. So it'll be available even if you aren't able to be in person. The great thing about a silent disco is you can have it anywhere in the world. You just turn your music on and have a great time. So I'm really excited because I love dancing and having fun, all those things. But sometimes the music can be really loud.
Yeah, and I'm so, the part that you just said about you could be anywhere in the world, that is so exciting for CLF members, right? So like CLF members, if you want to be a part of the silent disco at General Assembly, get you a virtual ticket to General Assembly, and that will be part of it. And so we could have people in all of the time zones rocking out to the General Assembly silent disco.
Biggest dance party, maybe.
Yeah. So I just want to break in, and because we're using language that I think not everybody will understand. I know that some folks I'm thinking of folks who are older than me who have never heard the term silent disco. Can you explain what that is and how that works? Because I have a mental picture of it. I've never been to one because, you know, I'm old now and don't go out dancing and my knees hurt. But, you know, like explain to me what this looks like and how it acts. Yeah,
well, I will say it looks kind of ridiculous. If you walk in and you don't have headphones on, it's just a bunch of people like jumping up and down with absolutely no music because everyone's wearing headphones. And so you get to listen. Basically, we've had a couple silent disco parties at my college. And so the way that we've done it, I'm not sure of the logistics or the specifics for this GA. So apologies if it's a little bit different. But basically, you get a pair of headphones. You can control the sound on one side, like the volume on one side, and then the different tracks of music on the other. And so, like I mentioned, we'll be having 3 different tracks. And sometimes the headphones like light up so you can tell what other people are listening to. So maybe if you and your friends all want to dance to the same song, you can all switch to the same song and then all be dancing together. Or if you want to listen to your own music, if you're like, wow, I really don't like this song, you can just pick a different channel and you're listening to your own thing. Your friends are listening to their own things, but you're all in the same space together. Or if you're virtual, you're all in, you know, whatever space you're in, and you are, you know, in community with all these people. I think it's kind of, the silent disco is kind of like Unitarian Universalism as a dance party. You know, everybody gets to pick their own personal theology and own personal music, but there are still shared things that bring us together. And so, you know, I think, you know, we should have been doing the silent disco a long time ago, but I'm excited that we're doing it now.
So let me understand this. Like, people would walk into a room and there are a lot of people dancing, but there's no sound.
Right.
There's no sound. Will there be, like, I'm just sort of envisioning like you know, like the laser light show or the mirror ball or whatever, that kind of stuff still happening? Or is it just a sort of a semi-dark room with people that look like a bizarre mosh pit? And where did, like do you supply the headphones? Because I had this vision of like people having to bring their own Bluetooth headphones and hook up.
Yeah, the headphones are supplied.
Okay.
I don't know about the specifics about the decorations. I can look into that. When I've done it, we've done it outside, so there hasn't been decorations, but I know sometimes there is like a disco ball or whatever. It's probably going to be similar to GA dances of the past, although, you know, with what we're doing now, I would assume that there's probably going to be, you know, masks and more distance and all those things anyways. So some of those specifics will have to go to the logistics team, the planning team.
Right.
But so basically, yeah, you walk in and it looks very funny, and then you put on headphones and you're like, oh, this is actually fun.
Okay, and so, but the cool thing about this, it sounds like this would be great, especially if you're living in close quarters with people. If you're in an apartment building and you want to have a dance party in your place, but you don't want the neighbors to, you know, to call the super or the police or whatever, you can do it this way.
Oh,
and then if people want to talk to each other, instead of shouting over the music, you just take your headphone off and talk to each other in a normal tone of voice. Oh my God, how awesome is that?
And I think, yeah, that model, I mean, it's not only do you have to, like, you can control your own volume and everything, but it's a very opt-in event, you know? If you don't want to be listening to loud music anymore, or if you need to take a break for a moment and kind of reset yourself instead of having to, you know, go far away somewhere and find a quiet little corner, you can just take your headphones off and kind of have that break yourself. And so it makes it a lot easier for people who want to participate for a little bit, but aren't going to be able to, you know, withstand all of the music for a really long time. You know, there's all these other options.
Right. That's so cool. That is so cool.
You know, one of my absolute favorite things at General Assembly, like it might be my absolute favorite, I'm not sure. Anyways, is the GA dance when everybody does the electric slide. Because seeing like folks in their 80s all the way down to teenagers in there doing the electric slide together makes my heart so happy. And to do that like on a silent disco, like somebody needs to videotape it, you know, without music.
Totally. Jeez.
because it's going to be like this big group of people doing the electric slide, but there's no music.
Wow.
I cannot wait. It is going to be so much fun.
No,
folks.
it's a good
That sounds
time.
awesome.
The GA dance is the place that I first got asked to dance by someone, so it holds a special place in my heart too.
That's so sweet.
It
That's
is.
so
It
sweet.
is.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Like I don't generally go to it because it's really, really loud. But like it might be cool just to cruise through and check it out.
I think it's going to be the place to be, DC.
Yeah. Apparently it's where the cool kids will be. And that's on what night?
Oh, that's a great
What night is
question.
That's a
What
really
night
good
is it?
question. It's usually Friday or Saturday. Yeah.
Friday or
Sorry.
Saturday. Okay.
Check the GA schedule.
I think it's usually Saturday night, isn't it? Anyway.
I've been trying to put all of the different events in GA in my Google Calendar, and
How's that
been
going?
it's been difficult. It's been, I'm like trying to figure out how to color code different things too, and I'm like, general session, what? But
This is how the geeks of GA do it, folks.
Right?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly
Jeez,
it.
look at
We've got it all on the phone, ready to go. Here are the green things are the things I must go to. The yellow things are the things I kind of want to go to. And the red things are things that I want to go to, but I know I can't because I have another commitment. So I need to come back and do the virtual session later. But it's a lot of fun. And again, for CLF members, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but if financial circumstances are keeping you from doing the virtual GA, please reach out to us, and we will see what we can do. There's VUU does financial aid and financial grants, but those are probably used up at this point. I'm not sure, maybe not.
We can raise some money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, if you're a youth, or if you know a youth, there is a ton of money for them still. We have some amazing funds for youth to get funding for registration and travel and lodging. And, I really, really recommend. It's one of the best experiences for youth. And I think you can get up to like $250 if you're a white youth, and then up to $650 if you are a youth of color. So that's a really great resource too. And definitely into that on the UUA Youth and Young Adult pages.
Yeah. And I'm always happy to be a youth sponsor. So if you don't have an adult sponsor in your life, hit me up, and I do meet with you and meet with your caregivers, and we have a covenant and all that kind of thing. It's not just like, oh, sure, I'll be your sponsor. It's a thing. But if you're willing to do it, I'm willing to do it. So
unsurprisingly, Christina is very supportive and caring and a great advocate for youth. So would recommend. You were my sponsor for like one day before I think my parents got there, or before I turned 18 or something.
Yeah, I've been like the sideways sponsor a couple of times. Like, I've got a sponsor, but they're not getting here until then, or they're leaving early, or yeah.
And I have like 4 years until I can become a sponsor, which I'm very excited for, because I'm in that weird limbo between being a youth and being old enough to be a sponsor. But I am excited.
Well, usually we go for an hour here on the CLF View, but today we are going to cut it a little bit short because we feel like what we've given you is super fun and gives you just a little nugget of what you can be experiencing at GA. And seriously, if you're a CLF member and you want to participate virtually and funds are an obstacle, please email me. There's a contact form on the CLF website to email the leads, and I will do anything humanly possible to make that happen.
Right, absolutely.
Thanks so much,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Carrie, Karishma.
And yes, I look forward to meeting you finally in person.
I know, it'll be so exciting. Thanks so much for having me. And I think I'll be doing maybe a little bit of a segment with the CLF co-ministry team, because I hear you guys have some fun GA footwear that I'll hint at. So if you want to see more of your favorite CLF co-ministry team and me, definitely register for GA virtually or in person. But if it's virtual, then you'll definitely see a lot of me.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. See you next week.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to those of you who give generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible. You can click the link in the description to give now, or visit clfuu.org/give for more information. We hope you will join us next week for another episode of The VUU.